think that the legislature is committed to getting us a budget that is ready and something that we can all wrap our hands around. Moving towards June 30th, it is our goal to bring closure as quickly as possible. So we have begun to, our respective staffs, the governor's office, the Senate office, and our assembly office. Our staffs are working day and night at this juncture, along with the leadership of the legislature and our respective caucuses, to move through this budget. The governor has initiated dialogue with myself and Senator Sweeney, and we are attempting to reach some accord. And the governor pretty much defines it as he presented to us on March 16th, a budget that reflected his priorities and the things that he thought were important. And he understands that we in the legislature may have a different point of view. And he is open to working with us to perhaps present proposals to him. But he wants us to understand that everything that we would put on his desk for consideration is within the confines of $29.3 billion, the budget that he presented to us. So we are working through budget language right now. We are looking at some potential restorations to things that have been cut. And we're being responsible in terms of identifying for the governor's office where we believe we can realize some savings in places so that we can bring restoration back for some initiatives and everything remains cost neutral. So that's the process that we're working on now. You know, when we do a budget, we have to prepare well over 150 associated bills in order to bring closure to a legal budget. So it is a very tedious process. A lot of that process is over on our side of the house because under our Constitution, the revenue bills initiate out of the Assembly. So we are in full-fledged work mode at this. Well, one of the things the governor has committed that he will work with us on is restoration to municipalities who host urban enterprise zones. And you can imagine that in this economic climate and with small business owners that made a decision to come to certain cities to open up their businesses, they were attracted that the city was a UEZ, that there were incentives to come bring your business to those places. And those are kind of Main Street kinds of programs that really help cities. For instance, Pleasantville, New Jersey is a UEZ, and the mayor there has been working to attract a developer who is committed to doing a $50 million project in Pleasantville. That developer made the decision to come and do the project because Pleasantville is a UEZ. So the governor is open to working with us to identify some ways we can maintain the urban enterprise zones in this budget. Governor Christie is a very personable kind of a person. He is the kind of person, politics aside, you wouldn't mind hanging out with on a Friday night. He's funny, he's witty, he's engaging, but ideology, you know, of course he and I have vastly different ideologies about different things. And I don't think our ideology is that separate. I understand what he is seeking to achieve. I just don't necessarily agree with the strategy he uses to get there. But on a social level, he's a person you'd enjoy socializing with. We're committed to getting a budget done on time. You know, we experienced the shutdown of a government in 2006. We're looking across the water where the legislature in New York is 10 weeks overdue on a budget. That doesn't bode anyone well. And particularly when you are in the type of recessionary time that we are in a very downturned economy, with each day that our government would be shut down, it would just drive us further into an economic abyss. So we're as responsible leaders, we should not even have that in our vocabulary.
Well,
What we did in the assembly when we set up our meeting schedule for the spring term, we established, I think, 3 or 4 voting session days in the month of June. And we do have a voting session scheduled for the 28th of June. But being the responsible people that we are, we project that we would much rather be in a position to wrap up on the 24th. We can project the 28th, but then we're running the timeline really tight, and that's why you hear that date, the 24th. But if it doesn't happen for us by the 24th, we do have a voting session scheduled for the 28th.